video, I'm going to go over how to disassemble your bi-level and wash all the pieces that need to be washed and then reassemble the bi-level parts. So the things that you'll need are containers of some sort to do your washing of the pieces in, or you can use your kitchen sink, but in this video I'm going to use the containers. You're going to need non-scented, non-antibacterial hand soap or dish soap, and we're going to use water from just tap water, warm sudsy water. So first of all, we're going to take apart all the pieces of the bi-level, including the pieces of your masks that can be washed. On this particular mask, the nasal pillows come off, so we're just going to put those into the bucket. We're going to leave that to the side. The hose can be washed, so we're going to take the hose. Just going to put that in your bucket there. The humidifier, now this humidifier just comes out like that. The base of the humidifier does come off. You probably best to use a butter knife, and you're just going to pry the base off like that, and your base comes off. So into the bucket that goes. This machine, the seal of your mask comes off. You put that into your bucket. This part comes off. You can just use a warm face cloth or dishcloth and wipe the inside of the mask there. Your hose comes off into the bucket. And this humidifier comes off as well. This humidifier just has clips on the side, so you're just going to unclip the clips. It's a little bit sticky, so just be careful when you take the lid off from the base. Now there's a little piece in here. This can come off and that can be washed. The base of the humidifier can be washed. And on the lid, there's a silicone seal. This silicone seal might be stuck to the base too, but at either way, it just comes off like so, and those pieces come into the bucket. So now we're just at the sink. We're going to take our disassembled parts and wash them with warm soapy water. Once again, you have your non-antibacterial, non-scented hand soap. We're just going to, as if you're washing dishes, a little bit of soap and a little bit of hot water is all it is, or warm water. So we're just going to add some soap. So you just want to make sure you're washing the base of the humidifier pot, the heating plate, and you're just washing it all off. There was only distilled water in here, so there shouldn't be, if you're washing on a weekly basis, there shouldn't be too much buildup. If you're using the distilled water, which we recommend, it just helps with the mineral deposits on the humidifier pot. So once that's all washed, we're just going to rinse. And then I'm just going to place this in my bucket, and we're going to air dry the pieces once everything's clean. So just doing the same with all the parts that are in the bucket. Once again, just washing with a cloth and the warm soapy water and rinsing. And then finally we have the hose. So the hose, you can just try scoop up some water into the hose, and I find the easiest way, you just move the water with your hands like that, and then you can drain it. Doing that a couple times just to get any buildup in the inside of the hose out. And then the water's just going to come out that end. And then we're just going to rinse the hose really well, making sure that you're rinsing the inside of the hose as well as the outside, because we don't want any of the soapy water buildup. So I just normally let the water run until it starts to funnel out. And then just using your hands again. And we're going to do that a couple times just to ensure that all the soap is out of the inside of the tube. It's always a good idea that when we're washing in our sink, I use buckets. That way we know the buckets are clean. If you're not washing in a bucket, make sure that you wash out the inside of your sink before you start washing the BiPAP parts. And you just want to make sure that you're washing in a clean basin or the clean sink. Okay, so once you've washed all your equipment and you've rinsed it with tap water, we're just going to lay it out to dry. So just over your sink or your bucket, you can just drain the excess water. And we're just going to lay everything. If you have these hoses, you can just hang them over your like your bathtub if you have a shower rack or whatnot, or a clothesline if it's nice outside, or just a towel works as well. So we're just gonna lay that out nicely. And all your parts are just gonna air dry. Your mask and your seals from your mask as well, just let them air dry. And there you go. Once all your equipment has fully air dried, we're gonna put the equipment back together and then put the equipment back onto the humidifiers, back onto the BiPAP machines or the Bi Level machines. First, I'm gonna start with the BiPAP humidifier, or if you have this humidifier, we're gonna insert this part. So that just goes into the base of the humidifier like so. Then you're gonna take your silicone seal. I find it easiest if you put it on, when I put them together, when I put them on the base. Some people like putting the silicone seal on the lid, either or. Just when you put the silicone seal on, use your fingers and go around the edges to make sure that it's a good seal. If the seal isn't sealed properly, when you put the humidifier back on the BiPAP, there's a chance of having a leak through the seal, so we just want to avoid that. And then the base sits right on top and you just squeeze it together nice and tight. And there's clips, gets clipped back on. And then the humidifier just slides back onto your BiPAP machine. If you've got this humidifier, it's pretty simple. You just put the base back onto the humidifier chamber. You'll notice quite quickly if you don't have a tight seal on the bottom, because when you put your distilled water into the humidifier, you'll get a leak out of the bottom. So just before you do that, make sure the base is on nice and tight. And then that humidifier just goes right back onto your machine like so. Then you have your dry hose. You're just going to attach your dry hose back to the humidifier chamber, and that's ready to go. And then your seals are just going to go right back onto your mask. All the masks and seals get put together a little bit differently, so just make sure when you take the seal off of your mask, you look to see how it goes back on. So this one just goes in the edges like that, and the mask is ready to go, and the nasal pillows just click in like that, and that's ready to go. So then you would just attach your mask back to your BiPAP machine, and everything is clean and ready to go. The last thing I want to go over is that there's filters on all of our machines. Once again, each machine is a little bit different where they keep the filter and how often you change them. What we recommend is that you do look at your filters bi-weekly and change them when they're soiled or dirty. On this machine, I'll just demonstrate. The filter is kept behind the blue base, so that just comes off. Check your filter, it's blue side out. If it needs to be changed, this just gets thrown away. You put a clean filter right back in, and the little cap goes back on. On the BiPAP, if your unit looks like this, the filters are kept behind here. This piece pops off. White filter to the outside, that comes out. The white filter is disposable, so you're just going to throw this filter away when it's soiled. Once again, you check them bi-weekly, and they're normally changed on average every 2 months. And then you have a gray filter behind it, and the gray filter comes out. This gray filter is your large particle filter. This can just be washed as well or rinsed under tap water and then air dried. So then the filter would go back in to the machine. The white filter then goes back in, and then your cover just goes back on. And the filters are changed.